So I will briefly touch upon the pricing topic, although it's going to be covered in depth in the planning module. But the reason I'm touching on the pricing topic is because you have just provisioned a resource in your Azure subscription, and I wish to warn you that you might incur some costs if you breach some thresholds. So typically you get a small number of requests for free, and that's what you require to complete this course. But you need to always pay attention to your billing. I cannot guarantee you that it will not cost you anything to do those labs. It might cost you some money. So I will explain to you what the pricing looks like, and the fact that we will have a look at the billing account to make sure that you know where to look at your costs. So if you talk about pricing, you have two options when it comes to Azure AI services. One is the pay as you go option, and in the pay as you go option, you have the free tier and the standard subscription. So what we have provisioned now is standard, and the reason is that many of the services in the Azure AI services list do not have a free tier. So that's why when you provision the multi-service account, you see the option only to provision the standard service. So that's not a big problem. In most of the cases, you won't incur very high cost, or you might not even incur any cost, but you need to keep paying attention to your costs as you go along these videos, and I will show you how to monitor the costs and set a budget, for example, right away, because you need to be aware of that. So the second option that you have is a commitment tier. So if you are an enterprise with a large number of requests, you can actually approach Microsoft and agree on certain commitments, which means you will get a lower cost for the service, but then you are committing a certain volume and a certain amount of fixed spend per month or per year, depending on the negotiation you have, and that's the commitment tier. So as you can see, for the translator service, this is an example. You have the free, the pay as you go, and then you have the volume discounts categorized into S2, S3, S4, etc. So that's how you will, or Microsoft bills you for these services. So let's have a look at the billing page and make sure that you know how to set a budget and be alerted if your labs are going to cost you more than what you expect. So let's do that in the next video. So let's look at billing and budgeting so that you don't overrun your costs and get a huge bill from Microsoft accidentally for using these services. So for that, you need to search for billing subscriptions in your Azure portal. And if you're a user of your Azure account from your corporation or company, then you might not have these options. So you don't have to worry about the billing. But if you are a regular user like me who has a personal account, then you need to be a little bit more concerned about it. Although doing these labs will not incur you any cost or much cost, you just have to be careful that you do not exceed your expenses. So then we go into this subscription that I have, the billing subscription. I go in there and you can see that I have my billing subscription, and there are other options. But what I'll do is I'll click on this manage option here on the left side. And here you can see I've been using the services, and then as you can see, they are within the limit. So that's kind of good news. So you can also see all the services. So you see I have used the certain number of services, and then it tells me if I am within the limit to be billed. So free services for 12 months, as you can see. So you have to keep monitoring this dashboard and make sure that you do not get any bills that are out of your budget, right? So then what you need to do is on the left side here, you can actually click on budgets, and then you can actually add a budget to your billing subscription. So if you click here, you can say, okay, let me call this Azure or AI 102, and then the budget is going to be monthly, and the budget will start on a certain date, end on a certain date. This can be anything, 1 year, 2 years, it's up to you. And then you can set a certain amount. So now set this amount very low, and the reason is that you need to actually test if this works. So I'm going to set it to like $2 or €2 just to make sure that I get an alert. So what happens if I get actual 100% of this? is like 2 euros, then what I need to do is I will just select that, and I will say, okay, I need to get an email. So here I will get the email mentioned, and then, for example, this should send me an email when the budget is met, and therefore I will be able to come and check what is causing the email or what is causing the budget to overrun. So that's what I'm going to do. So click create, and we should be done. So it's going to validate my input, and now I have a budget set. It's very low to begin with, so that I can get a feel of whether this budget is working or not, or this alert is working or not. And once I have made sure that the alert is working, I can come here and set a more reasonable target. So that's something I would highly recommend you to do. Now we look at cost analysis. So we could also like do cost analysis here on the left side, and we also have cost alerts. So what you can do is click on add and then set a cost alert here. So we will create an alert rule, an anomaly, for example. No, this is needed. Okay.